My existence is not a coincidence.
Hey, it's your girl Makeda, and I'm here to talk to you guys about a very important subject to me, a very necessary subject that should be talked about probably more often within our community. So the other day I made a post. I started following this page that's called Haitians Who Blog on Instagram. And I really like the content of the page. It talks a lot about our culture and what it means to kind of be a black sheep in our culture, as far as being creative and not going the Haitian route, which would be become an engineer, become a doctor, become a nurse. And so I purchased this shirt from this page, and it says Haitian creatives, okay? And so as I was about to make this post with a picture and a cute little video that I made, I started to reflect on my caption, which got a little deeper than I thought. And so in this caption, I really just talk about what it means to be Haitian and how much I love it. However, there were roadblocks because I'm also a creative, right? And so that's the subject I'm kind of trying to dive into, because I know a lot of people can relate. Whether you're Haitian or just West Indian in general, I feel like we could kind of connect on this subject. And so I want to talk about it. The post got a lot of feedback and a lot of love and a lot of, yeah, I relate kind of emojis. So let's get into it, right? First, let's start off with my love for the culture. I love being Haitian. Being Haitian, I love the history. I love the food. I love the people. I love the fashion. I love the music. I love the language. I love everything about being Haitian. I truly enjoy my time in Haiti. I truly enjoy learning about my culture. I just really, really love being Haitian. A lot of the times, that's kind of the first thing I mention when people ask me to describe myself or what they should know about me. I'm like, your girl is Haitian. So I also love being a creative, right? I love writing. I love poetry. I love the birth work that I do. I love creating content. I love curating space. And I've been this way since I was a kid. I used to fold up paper, printing paper, and write stories for my mom to read, or even draw. Just things of that nature. It's always been a part of me. But growing up Haitian made me kind of believe that those things were only hobbies and that's all that they could be. I never thought that I could take it further in a way where I could gain exposure or even make money. Like, it was just always in the hobbies bracket. Not something that I should or can be doing every day or anything like that. I thought a hobby and a career were just like two different things, and very separate. And that thinking really did come from my culture and like my family with love. But it was always, I feel like I was always from birth, pretty much from birth, or from the moment I started going to school, everybody thought that my career choice would always be nursing. As soon as I got into high school, everybody was like, yeah, make sure you get good grades so that way you can go to college and become a nurse. So that way your focus could be nursing. I don't think that I ever really, really, really wanted to be a nurse, but I didn't necessarily shun the idea. I liked helping people, so I thought that was cool. And I actually did enjoy the idea of healthcare. So I didn't necessarily knock it, but because that was the only option or the only thing that was being thrown at me, I don't think I really actually thought about my other options, what my interests were. I just always thought, again, like that they were just hobbies. And so I was writing in high school, but that was a hobby. I was dancing in high school, but that was a hobby. I was like kind of curating or being part of organizations that put on shows or anything really creative. I think I was just always involved. I enjoyed it so much, and I knew that it was going to be an important part of my life. I just didn't think that anything serious could ever come of it. I know y'all feel me. And so I feel as though I fell for it. I believed it. And I also thought about my security and stability and what that meant for me. And I thought financial stability would bring me so much joy, you know? So anyways, I end up going to nursing school, and it was an accelerated program, so it was really tough. I think I cried after every exam. I learned a lot about myself during that time, mainly about how I learned. Long story short, I become a nurse. I start working as a nurse, but your girl is not really happy, and I am not very fulfilled. And it was just an experience for me that it just wasn't for me. Like, that's kind of the moral of the story. Like, not all the career choices that I feel like our culture throws at us, and not everybody, because I know everybody's different, but for the most part, I've talked to a lot of Haitians and we kind of have the same story. But it wasn't for me at all. I did a good job at it, but I wasn't fulfilling the desire that was inside my heart, to be honest. And at some point I kind of tried to do both, and it became overwhelming, and I actually got really depressed and some more things. And so, long story short, I kind of stopped doing it. And yeah, family members are probably watching this and being like, what, you stopped doing it? Yeah, because I kind of wasn't very honest upfront about me not doing it anymore. And that was because I was scared. I was scared of what they were gonna say. And so I definitely chose a creative route, still kind of holding on to that healthcare and wanting to help people. But I discovered through my creativity that my purpose had a lot to do with helping women, and particularly expecting mothers. So then I dove into doula work and birth work, and just really kind of the natural herbal lifestyle, and also venturing off into my poetry a little bit more, focusing a lot more on my poetry, curating events, meeting with artists, creating content, vlogging, blogging, fashion, yoga even. Like, I just kind of went opposite of what everybody was expecting. So I guess why I wanted to talk about it is, one, I wanted to share that it's not easy keeping in mind your culture and your family and your friends and the people that you really want to make proud, and doing something that's completely opposite of what they expect of you. And I just kind of wanted to offer some encouragement and some insight on how I'm doing it, because I still haven't perfected this venture or this journey. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I feel like it's worthwhile. It's amazing to do, and it's my truth. And I think that's the most important part. How to carry on, right? How do you honor your culture and still do you, boo-boo? Well, here's the thing. As individuals, it's important for us to respect and honor and really pay attention to our heart's desires. And the reason being is that if you are not passionate about what you do, you can do it good, but you won't do it well. You won't do it great. And not only will you feel it, but I really feel like the people you interact with will feel it also. So I really do feel like passion is needed. Now, if you want to be an engineer and you're passionate about it, that's great. Do it, you know? But let's say that's not what you're called to do. I feel like you should really spend time figuring it out. And figuring it out means trying new things. You won't know unless you try. So if it's in your head that you want to be a chef and you love to cook, maybe take some more cooking classes. If you are interested in painting, but you're not an expert at it, but you know that there's some sort of really burning sensation when you do it, cool. Take some classes, do a paint night with your girls, your boys, whichever, and really feel it out. Also, be consistent. Be consistent with your passion. If you're really passionate about it, it'll be fun. It won't be like a job, It won't feel like a job. It'll feel like you're existing in your truth. Some other things that I feel like I personally did was kind of silence those thoughts, those voices. And it's tough to do, especially in our culture, because I know for me, I was raised to honor and respect my family and my parents, especially, and respect as I've grown doesn't necessarily mean doing what they say. It's listening. But as you get older, it's about you. What do you want to do, Interestingly enough, my culture being Haitian has inspired a lot of what I do. My doula work especially. My poetry, I dedicated my whole poetry book to my time, to the women and the time that I spent in Haiti. I wrote a few poems while I was there just because I was amazed by the culture and amazed by the women that I met there. And so I say all this to say, being Haitian, being West Indian is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But sometimes we can fall short in our own journeys because we're trying to appease our culture and what they desire of us, And I don't think that we do our culture any good by not pursuing our dreams. I think that by pursuing our dreams, we are adding value not only to ourselves, but to our communities. So with all that being said, I love the culture, love who we are, but I do think that sometimes we need to break free of what our culture's expectations of us are. Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. I hope that you guys connect to some of the things that I said, if not all. Please leave your thoughts, your experiences in the comments below. Share with a friend. Share with a friend who's experiencing this or a family member that might need to understand a little bit more. I say this all with love, always, always with love. Thank you guys for watching.
My existence is not a coincidence.